Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about this new collection from ColourPop. This just dropped on their website today, the day that I'm filming this. It's an all rosé themed collection, so as of December 30th it is available, and I went to go and test. Codes do work on this collection, even on the full collection set, which sometimes codes will not apply to those since they're already discounted. But I went and double checked my code Amanda, which is an affiliate code, does work on this entire collection. So if you feel like picking this up, you can always use my code. It's definitely greatly appreciated to everybody who does choose to support the channel that way. You are very greatly appreciated. However, I love all of your faces no matter what. Now, before we get into this collection, I just want to mention I was going to sit down, film the whole tutorial with the lip swatches and all of that stuff. And I got to tell you, I don't have it in me today. Just to be completely honest with you, that's why this video is going up today and not earlier or yesterday. You know, I just need a little slower pace, and I know that you all understand that. But I just wanted to let you know that's why you're just going to see swatches. I do have a bunch of comparisons in here, but I just don't have the tutorial, lip swatches, all of that stuff. But I have been playing with these products for a couple days now, so I will be able to give you a little bit of my opinions on them. However, I just want to take this opportunity to encourage you to take a little bit of a step back or even take an entire break if you feel like you need it. The holidays are very, very taxing time, and I love making videos, but I do need a little slower pace sometimes too. So let's get into the products. We're going to start with these new Fresh Kiss Lip Lacquer shades. These are being sold individually for $8 each, or you can get all three in a trio set for $22, so you do save just a couple bucks there. The outer packaging is the same on all three shades, but you will see we get a nice little variety of colors here. There's a more nudie color, a pinky color, and then a deep kind of more vampy reddish color. These are differentiated with stickers on the bottom, but the packaging is clear, so it's not too hard to figure out which one you're grabbing. And these have a little bit of special packaging with the bubbles on the lid. However, the actual applicator and the size and shape of the component, everything else is exactly the same as the other Fresh Kiss lip lacquers. I did recently publish a video about this newer formula and my thoughts on it with a bunch of lip swatches of the other shades, so definitely go and check that out. I'll link it in the description for you. But for now, here are some quick arm swatches of these three new Rosé collection shades. Now, something that I am very excited about, these are my favorite products from this collection, and they are the Supershock blushes. I love all things Supershock, but I feel like the blushes are probably one of my favorite products. And you know, the shadows will always be the OGs for me, but I really, really gravitate towards these. These are sold only individually for $8 a piece. There's no trio for the cheek products, and each one of these is the pearlized finish, which I really love. It's my favorite Supershock blush finish because it gives such a beautiful, healthy glow to the cheeks. And you know how much I love my casually sweaty cheeks, so these are really the perfect product for me. You can apply them with either a finger or a brush. I do have a couple of different videos where I show you how I like to apply these, so I'll try to remember to link some of those below too if you struggle with this formula. But it is one of my favorites, and these are by far my highest recommendation for this collection. I like the range of shades here. I think there's definitely something for everyone. And one of the reasons why I love the Supershock cheeks so much is because they look great on a wide variety of skin types and skin tones. So I just think this is a perfect little cheek collection. And I am going to give you a couple of quick comparisons here with other Supershock blushes that I have in my own collection. I don't have as many Supershock cheek products as I do palettes. So I think I was able to do a pretty decent comparison. Like for this one at first blush, I know that neither Prenup nor Chiffon are an exact dupe. However, I think if you mixed the two together, you would get something kind of similar. So if you already have both of these other ones, then maybe you could combine them instead. And Sounds Grape, I thought would be exactly like Cheerio, but it's definitely a little bit more pinky. However, I would say they're very, very similar. Not nearly as close to Bardot as I was expecting, but that's part of the fun of comparisons. Now let's talk about the Supershock Shadows. At least at the moment, these are only being sold in this Sip Sip Hooray trio for $22. I don't see them individually on the site anywhere. Maybe in the future that will change, but this is my second place pick for this collection. I'm a sucker for a good Supershock. This isn't news to anyone. We do have 3 pretty different shades here, and they seem to coordinate well with the different blushes. There's this peachier, kind of orangey shade. There's a more pinky color, and then there's a more grapey, kind of purpley toned color. All of these are the Ultra Glitter finish, and as you can see, my It's a Vibe Supershock did come cracked. These are very, very easy to repair. I have a whole video where I talk about all the different tips and tricks I have for Supershock Shadows, so I will also link that. I know I'm linking a lot of stuff, but I'm going to try to share as much info as I can. If you're somebody who struggles with your Supershocks, with them drying out, with them arriving broken, go check out that video and I will share all my best tips for you to help you love your Supershocks as much as I love mine. I do have a pretty large Supershock shadow collection, so I probably could have done about 100 comparisons each because these are a little bit more commonplace Supershock colors. They do a lot of these neutrally reddish, peachy, sparkly type of colors. So I do have a lot of really, really good comparisons for these from the Rosé collection. However, a lot of the best comparison shades I have are colors that have been discontinued. So if you missed out on these previously, this new set of Supershocks could be a great way to fulfill that FOMO from the previous Supershocks. In this way, I honestly think that some of the more repetitive shades really aren't a bad thing. I know that it may seem like that, especially if you have a lot of ColourPop stuff like I do, but these shades are kind of coming back in a way, and I honestly don't always think that that's a problem. Now, let's talk about the shadow palette. This is the By the Rosé palette. It's priced at $14 and it does not have any eye safety warnings. On the ColourPop site, this one is marked as cruelty-free. Everything ColourPop makes is cruelty-free, but this one does not indicate that it's vegan, and they typically do indicate that when it applies. So this is not a vegan palette. It is the cardboard packaging, which means there's no mirror inside, and these are the larger pans. So the big pans like the Limoncello palette of quartz, the very recently released Feelin' Bubbly palette, which we'll look at those together here in just a minute. This palette has 4 true mattes, 4 regular shimmers, 1 matte with glitter on that bottom row there. You can really blatantly see it. And there are no pressed glitters, no Supershock shadows in this. I wanted to give you a quick close-up of the textures here and show you all the shade names printed inside next to the pans as usual. Now, it's pretty clear to me that the By the Rosé palette is a sister to Feelin' Bubbly. The styling, the packaging, the pan sizes, all that, it really looks like they are part of a duo, or who knows, maybe there'll be more. But shade-wise, they're not super similar. I just wanted you to see that because I'm not going to swatch compare them. Now, this is just the By the Rosé palette swatches, finger swatches on top, brush swatches below. I always do my swatches straight onto my bare skin, so there's no primer here. And I also don't use a dampened brush. I use a dry, just flat e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. That way we get a really consistent swatch across not just this video, but all of my videos. I try to do it the same every time so that you can really use that as a reference point. Now I'm going to give you a very close-up look at the texture on the skin. I think the biggest criticism for this palette will be that the pinky shimmery shades really look quite alike. However, overall formula and performance is really nice. I don't have any complaints there between opacity, blending, application. It's all good with this palette. Now let's take a look at a few comparisons, some of the most requested from my Instagram post. Top of the top would be Blush Crush. It does seem like these are very, very similar. By the Rosé seems like a more mid-toned extension of Blush Crush in a way. I wouldn't exactly say a deeper version because there are still a lot of lighter shades in By the Rosé. Now, Sweet Talk is the 12 pan that I really wanted to compare here, and I think that these are similar in vibe, but Sweet Talk is a lot more orangey peach, and By the Rosé seems quite neutral in comparison, like neutral undertoned, I mean. So I think these could be nice companions for a very springy floral look, but not really that much of a dupe. Now, one I didn't see anybody request, but I immediately went to is the Truly Madly Deeply palette. And again, I think there's a lot of similar vibes going on here. Truly Madly Deeply has a little bit more brightness in those pink and coral shades and a little bit more colorful feel with those purples on the end instead of a more brownish neutral approach. And lastly, Smoke and Roses, which is very, very similar. I do think that By the Rosé is just a mini version of Smoke and Roses, much like I think of Quartz is a mini version of Stone Cold Fox. I don't think there's any problem with that, but I just don't think that these two palettes have the same target audience. Either you want the big palette or you prefer the smaller version. It's just my opinion on that one. It's just one girl's opinion. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this collection. Are you going to pick anything up? Have you already ordered? I would love to hear all your thoughts down in the comments below. Make sure you check the description box for more info. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. And also, I love your face. Okay, bye.